This is a public meeting of the Berlin Conservation Commission occurring via Zoom webinar on December 16, 2020, starting at 7:15. As a preliminary matter, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other participants may be able to see you. Take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. This is John Aney, Chair of Berlin Conservation Commission. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated in the agenda are present and can hear me prior to me calling the meeting to order. Carolyn, we know, is here. Walter's here. Liz is joining us. Steve is here. Louise is here. Robin will join late. Holly cannot join us tonight. Some anticipated speakers on the agenda include Michael Ginsberg and Brittany Hodge. With a quorum present, I call this meeting to order at 7:14 p.m. on Wednesday, December 16, 2020. This open meeting of the Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, which may soon be the COVID-21 virus. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Berlin website at www.townofberlin.com. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, provided reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. While no in-person attendance of members of the public is permitted, every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio, video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. The standard public comment portion of this meeting will accommodate limited public comment. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening using the Zoom platform as posted on the agenda, identifying how the public may join. Meeting materials will be posted during the course of the meeting. Ground rules: please request recognition before speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes to the extent that our technical ability allows. Public comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of this meeting. Attendees' phones and other devices will be muted unless and until they raise their hand and are recognized by me to speak. And I ask each member of the public who wishes to speak to identify their name, and I will afford each speaker time to ask a question and make a brief comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Boom. All right. So let's move on to the minutes. Let me screen share. All righty then. So meeting minutes of December 2nd. I opened at 7:06 p.m. John opened the meeting by saying that it was being recorded and explained, as I just explained. Attendees at the meeting were John, Walter, Louise, Robin, Liz, and Steve. Other attendees included Holly, Chris Jansen, applicant for the RDA, 149. It's Eric Jansen. Chris McKenzie of Ducharme Dillis Design Group, 1 Main Street, Suite 1, Lunenburg, Mass. And Steve Venacasa, developer of homes at Highland Ridge. Alex Pera, attorney representing homes at Highland Ridge. Number 1, review and approve minutes of previous meeting. Minutes for November 18, 2020 were reviewed and edited. Walter moved to approve the minutes with minor edits. Louise seconded the motion, which passed by our roll call vote. John, I. Robin, I. Liz, I. Walter, I. Louise, I. Steve, I. Treasury report: funds available as of November 30th, 2020. Annual budget: $866.04. Wetlands budget: $10,912.83. And open space: $186,500.77. There are no bills or forms that were submitted. Mail: we were informed that the MAC dues will not be increased for fiscal year 2022. Wetlands, DEP 107-0241, Highland Ridge. Pat Gunn reported on his November 23rd, 2020 visit that he found erosion controls were still stable after the last 1.33 inches of rainfall, and the site was well maintained. Number 2, 100 River Road West. Enforcement order: the Concom has still not received a response to the owners. John will contact DEP and Dave Burke on the issue. Walter brought up the question whether the owners were also in violation for illegally disposing of construction trash. 32 Allen Road Wetlands issue. There's a confusion on the actual address of the wetlands issue. It cited this Site can be accessed from West Street and Allen Road. We'll also follow up. Appointment 7:30 p.m. Highland Ridge hearing conservation restriction document. Alex Para, attorney for the homes at Highland Ridge, reported on the revised draft of the conservation restriction document. These changes include language on providing public access to trails on the site and adding clarifying language on the reserve rights for wells, drainage, and septic system. These changes will be included in the final draft of the document. John commented on his concern that part of the trail across wetland area, suggestions for discussing how to deal with the issue, including building a boardwalk across the wet area or moving a trail. Steve Venincasa commented on keeping the trails away from the homes. He's a favor of a trail system to the site. John brought up the issue of protecting the conservation area from being used to dump landscaping materials. The language will be clarified to prevent that from happening. The next draft will include all changes and will be presented at the next CC meeting. 8:30 p.m. request for determination of applicability. 149 Story Hill Road, map 11, parcel 11.3. Concom received verification that the RDE meeting was posted on the Western TNG. Chris McKenzie of Sharman Dillis Design Group of on Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass. Represented the applicant Eric Jansen of 5 Mill Dam Road, Acton, Mass. The plan dated 10/19/2020, titled Sewage Disposal System, were drawn by Sharman Dillis. John reported on the site visit that he and Louise did on December 2nd. John suggested an embedded silt fence and straw wattles be used for an erosion control barrier rather than just straw wattles. Chris agreed. The plan will be updated to show the location of the silt fence. The new plan will be submitted. Chris indicated the wetlands would not be impacted. The CC's main concern was keeping runoff from clogging the stormwater management structure. Louise moved to issue a negative determination of applicability for 149 Story Hill Road. Robin seconded the motion, which passed by a unanimous roll call vote. New business, National Grid, Bridge Road, utility exemption. The CC received an email from Wetlands representative about National Grid's plan to replace utility poles, to not replace, to construct, install. There's nothing there right now. Oh, I hate it when that happens. There's a question of whether to an RDA needed to be filed since the area is close to the Assabet River. CC will request wattles be installed. John will contact the wetlands person to inform her. Oh, I hate that. I'll fix it later. Old business, Highland Ridge CR SVT as conservation monitor. The Concom discussed the pros and cons of having SVT monitor the CR at Highland Ridge. The issue was tabled to be discussed at a later meeting. Highland Ridge trail status. Concom is working with the Highland Ridge developer on the issue of keeping trails open for public use. Wetland bylaw, no action taken. Boundless Adventures. John reported that Boundless Adventures had emailed a copy of the new plan that incorporated the changes the Concom had suggested. John emailed back that an RDA should be submitted. No land acquisition, no action. Land management. John raised the issue of whether we needed a trail committee. Such a committee could help coordinate trail maintenance, such as clearing of down trees or erosion. Holly reported that the trails used by the equestrians in town are well maintained. They would be willing to help other trails. More discussion take place. Blah, blah, blah. Liz moved to adjourn the meeting. Steve seconded the motion, which passed by unanimous roll call vote. Meeting ended at 8:50. This recorded by Louise, Shonda, and Johnny. Any thoughts or comments? Any thoughts?
Nope.
I'm just gonna leave that like that.
I'll make a motion to accept as corrected.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? I roll call vote. All right. John, aye. Carolyn?
Aye.
Louise? Louise? Louise?
Unmute. Oh,
She's gone.
no, she's there.
She's there? Oh,
Just nod. Yeah, okay. Steve?
yes, I'm here. Yes, I agree. Hi.
Liz?
I trust you on this. I was having technical difficulties, so
Okay.
I'll
And
say aye if you need me to.
I do, because Walter is now also muted and black.
And Louise is unmuted, so try her again.
Louise, say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
I'll do it.
And
Okay.
Walter's unmuted now also.
Walter, you want to say aye?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can
Yep.
now. Yeah. Thank you, Walter.
Yeah, but you can't see me.
No,
No,
Well,
we
that's a
can't.
blessing.
You're right. Your video's off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's off? What's off?
Your video's off.
Yeah, well, what do I do about it? I'm sick of clicking on things. I disappear altogether when I'll just leave. You know what I look like, I think.
We have a strong memory of your appearance, Walter.
You what?
I have a very strong memory of your appearance.
Yeah.
Let's have it. Yeah. Okay.
John, if we don't have anything time sensitive, Janet Lamy is in the office and is in the audience, and I don't know if she's here for a reason or just observing. Should I allow her to talk?
Sure.
All right. Janet. Janet,
She's muted.
she is.
Send her a chat. Is there a chat?
Sure, I can do that somehow, but.
Are you unmuting me?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
just wondering if
Here I
you're.
am having a conversation with my sister because I went to cut my Christmas tree down today and somebody cut my tag tree down.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm not happy. What did you want, Miss Caroline?
Just wondering if you had anything specific or you were just observing.
No, I am going from meeting to meeting, waiting for FinCom because my whole clan is out.
Okay. All right.
All right. We'll
But
entertain
John,
you.
you're so soft-spoken. Even if I wanted to listen, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I hear him loud and clear.
Yeah, I turned my volume all the way up. That's kind of why I called my sister because I couldn't hear him.
It's
But
just
other-
stupid because John is loud as can be.
Not
Other people
no one's
can
as
hear me?
loud as me, Walter.
All right.
All right,
Yeah, I
goodbye.
can
All
hear
right.
you.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Janet. Bye.
All right. We're waiving the treasurer's report until January 6th. Bills and forms. I want to get reimbursed.
Nope, can't do that.
Heck.
No, what's this?
Again?
Yeah. Gee.
Well, Liz is in Florida, so I had to do the certified mailing, and I can't sign off on my own reimbursement. So
You're in trouble now.
I know.
Looks like you're up $23.
Oh, don't torture me. I've had a long day.
Sorry.
Oh, you're gonna have a longer one tomorrow shoveling.
I missed a
I have
whole
a
week, so,
shovel.
I got to make up for some.
Yeah, I know.
It was
So-
pleasant last week. Was last meeting, wasn't it?
It was wonderful.
Was Walter not here?
No, he was here.
Ah, whoa.
All right. Entertain a motion to reimburse my ass $23.
I make a motion to.
So moved.
Is there a second? You guys are both
Second.
first. All right. Further discussion. All those in favor, roll call vote. John, abstain. Carolyn,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Liz,
Bye.
Walter,
I guess so.
and Louise.
Aye.
Thank you.
Wow, that was an expensive mailing. $23.
Well, it had the rip sheets. Apparently you're supposed to use the rip sheets.
I think we got a better deal when Liz does it.
Yeah, just to go to DEP?
No. There were three of them. Hi, Robin.
Hey,
Robin,
Hey, everyone.
Quiet.
Hello.
we voted to have you write the annual plan this year.
Oh, figures.
Yeah, it's due in the end of January, so it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Alex Para had an illness in the family, so he canceled. So we have two appointments, 7:30 COC for 100 Crosby Road, that shared driveway thingy, and then 8 o'clock the rail trail. It's almost 7:30. A couple of mail notice things. I'd sent around that there's people that are interested in becoming webmasters for the conservation web page, which needs updating. anyway, that's going to be held January 14th, Thursday, noon to 4. I can't make it because I'll be working. Also, as many of you may know, the plastic bag ban goes into effect January 1st. There was also, I just squeezed this in here, there was a self-reported wetland violation.
Self-reported?
John, just so you know, Michael Ginsburg is here.
Okay, we'll do this. We'll do that later then. Okay.
I'll promote it.
Yeah, let's go right on to this, the COC.
Okay.
Wow, he's got camels.
Yeah, I do, but I don't seem to have my camera working. Now,
There you are.
go.
Wow.
I could change from camels to the backyard view, but
Yeah. We're a right to farm community. You're good.
I know.
All righty. So, do you want to start explain the situation, Mike?
Yeah, I'm not sure I quite understand the situation. There apparently was a what is it called? An order of.
I'll explain the situation for you. So, all right. There was a NOI and a subsequent COC for a common drive put in a number of years ago, 2014, 2015. This was one of Scott Goddard's projects. So let me just screen share one picture of the common drive area. So this is a common drive easement here. Mr. Ginsburg lives here. John from Slovakia lives here, and I don't know who lives here.
Slovenia.
Slovenia. Sorry, I got it wrong. Okay. So this is wetlands. This is that stream, which usually runs right here. And so because of the proximity to the common drive, there was an NOI and then an OC. A COC was never obtained. And now Mr. Ginsburg, I believe, is trying to sell his property. And so the buyer was insisting that that this be signed off on. And so there was a COC request, which was emailed to Walter, who forwarded it to me. Last Sunday, Walter and I did a site visit, and we were accompanied by John. Mr. Ginsburg, Michael was away that weekend. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. The driveway looks fine. This area between the two is grassed, and there's no disturbed soil, really, and there's plenty of, just the grass itself provides plenty of erosion control from any water coming off the driveway. The slope is very gentle coming down here. So both Walter and I at the site visit felt that things looked good. So we thought we would speak favorably about having this COC signed off on. Did I present the situation correctly, Michael?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay. And Walter,
Is this for easement A and B, or just?
It's strictly easement A.
Steve, this is actually you did the paperwork on this back 6 years ago. So the easement, the OOC was for actually, covered lots 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
This is an easement also, but it covered lots 2, 3, and 4. So the common driveway, and then essentially it looks like it just continues here. So I started drawing up the COC, and I also put all 3 lots there, and all 3 roads, so that the other 2 house owners, John and whoever lives on lot 2, can also make benefit of. James?
Stead, yeah.
Stead.
John,
Yep.
who filed the NOI?
the NOI was, what's his face? Scott Goddard.
Scott. So does
Yeah.
he have to request the COC?
No,
Okay, just making sure that that's,
I was reading, it's really a property owner thing.
okay,
So again, just to remind people, the COC is largely to benefit the property owner because it helps clear the title of any cloud of them that might be on the title, which is why this came up because selling.
right,
We, you know, we have no need to ever issue COCs. The COCs are only for, really only for the benefit of the landowner.
correct.
It becomes a bigger deal when there's bigger projects like, you know, the solar farm. You know, we had that business, and that's why we issued a partial COC. But for little projects like this, it's really just making sure that things look fine. And there, like this area, you know, if this area hadn't been grassed in, or if there was like chewed up stuff, or you know, clearly run off into the stream, that would be a problem. But there was no evidence of any problems.
I just find it interesting that Mike has to get this when he's selling the house, but when Goddard sold the property, the bank didn't require that Goddard get the COC, but anyway.
You are correct, Walter.
John, James, and I also all find that quite interesting.
Yeah.
The only reason any of us knew about this is because I'm selling now, and my attorney went to, in drawing up the deed, said, you know, there's an impairment on your title.
Yeah.
So, all right, any other thoughts or comments?
I move that we issue the COC.
I second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. John, aye. Carolyn?
Aye,
Walter?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Louise?
Aye.
And Liz?
Aye.
Okay. So
Who seconded?
I did.
Robin did.
Robin.
Robin, okay.
So Michael, now because of everything is Zoom, and the state never figured out a way for us to sign this stuff electronically, I need to gather signatures, which will make it even more interesting because we're having a blizzard. So tomorrow's a wash. I don't know. So I will be able to print this out. And I'll actually, yeah, I'll print this out. And then of course I need to get my reimbursed $23. And I could, if people are willing to stop by, I could put it on the front porch again, weighted down by a rock. Or, you know, if I don't get a, okay.
I can swing by.
All right, don't do it tomorrow, but starting Friday, it'll be on the front porch. And then in the weekend, I'll gather enough signatures. Then I'll make copies. And then, I don't know, then either I or Walter can drop it off at the three houses. Because it'd be nice for each of you to have a copy.
Yeah.
Michael, you'll actually get the original.
Yeah, my attorney said that he would register it or do whatever has to happen for it to be. I guess since it's on the books in Worcester, it has to be cleared there as well. But he's got when he creates the deed and registers that, he would do this as well.
That's Barbieri, right?
Yeah, Al Barbieri.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, but you'll get the original. Look, John and James will get copies, but hopefully, because it was one DEP number, that like one will do it, but they should also have copies just in case.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So that's set.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Good luck with the move.
Thanks so much.
Yes. I have your phone call. You sent me your phone number, right?
I don't know. Did I? So I know you've got. We've sent emails, so you've got my email address.
Yeah.
I can give you phone numbers.
Well, yeah. Just email it to me. Just so I know that, so we can make sure that you actually get a copy, because you're probably on a pretty tight timeline by now.
Well, I'm leaving here on the 28th, assuming it doesn't have another big snow and the movers can actually get here. And then the closing is scheduled for the 4th.
Okay. All right, yeah, just email me your phone number and Walter and I will see what we can do. Okay?
Okay, thanks very much, John.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty then. Ugh. Let me see, did I still have that other thing up? I do. Okay, let me screen share this.
Does Liz have her snow shovel ready?
Just your broom.
Oh.
How do I
Anyway.
take that one?
Yeah, right?
64 Banner Road, which is sort of right on the Solomon, it's off of Solomon, Don Litch Boulevard. So it's sort of behind the DCU Center. It might be the same building they were talking about putting up some solar panels on. I don't know. Anyway, this, if you want to just sort of read this.
You're not
Are
sharing.
you screen sharing it or?
I meant to. Wait a minute. I didn't screen share it.
No, we're just seeing you hold your head up.
Oh, that's ugly. Yeah. How's that?
That's better.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, let's see here.
Can you scroll? Yeah, there you go. What's the address again?
Banner Road.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the
Okay.
Berlin plots.
Down there by Solomon Pond Mall.
Mm.
Yeah, I will get the.
Right, so it's on Solomon Pond Mall side of the Assabet.
Yeah, right. You probably going in Solomon Pond Road there, Don Lynch Boulevard. It might, I don't know, might be like the first left off of that into that area.
I was gonna say, I had no idea where that was.
Right, so like you pull into the DCU parking lot?
Well, I don't know where DCU is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, it
do,
looks
and you
like
go
it.
past it. DCU's on your left, you keep going in the way back.
Hmm.
Trying to find that.
Hi, got you, Liz.
Oh, good. Cool.
Well, with a snowstorm coming, it's going to be difficult to look at that small amount of soil that was pushed in by the last snowstorm or something. I would look at it.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just move along.
So he wants, you know, to be proactive. It's too bad they wasn't just a little bit earlier because I really just literally got this. I emailed him that I guess the only question is, is it easier to just, does he have to file an NOI to clean it up or not?
If we issue an enforcement order, he could clean it up under that. Or he could just clean it up.
Yeah, or he could just clean it up. Yeah, I mean, I think, my guess is that they kind of want to do that. But we have somebody go out there, but we're going to have a foot of snow. So this is 64 right here.
Right, yeah, so it's right behind Pure
Yeah.
Hockey and EMS and,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So, and you can see there's some wetlands right back there. So that's probably what happened. I don't know. You never know with this kind of December weather. There's all this snow may be gone in a couple of weeks. So I'll maintain contact with them, and then maybe one or two of us can go over and have a site visit.
Yeah, as soon as there's no snow cover.
And then, you know, he might be able to just clean it up quick, and then we'll just keep an eye on it, and that'll make it as easy for them as possible. All right. Is Franny here yet?
No, no one but us.
Okay. Wetlands issues, Highland Ridge, just, you know, Pat's last evaluation was actually now a couple of weeks ago, and everything was fine. 100 River Road West, I actually did get some communication from Dave Burke, who has been interacting with them to some degree. It isn't easy because only one of the people that he interacts with speaks English. But he had suggested that they deal with Beal and Thomas in Southborough for, you know, the NOI. And, you know, so he was going to get back to Anna, who's the representative, today and tomorrow. So that's the update. That's all I got for update for that. And then, okay, the next is 32 Allen Road.
Just a minute, Mr. Chairman. On that, so that 100 River Road, where exactly are we right now? This has been dragging on and on and on, and it's just a mess. And it should have been dealt with a long time ago. This inability to speak English is not an adequate excuse not to have dealt with that thing. Something's got to be done there.
I agree. I mean, we've had DEP there.
Did we
I
ever
don't-
hear anything from them about a decision?
Uh,
No, I didn't.
but I don't think, no. Oh, you're talking about Marlborough Road. No, we haven't heard anything about Marlborough Road.
Well, no, but also, didn't they go to River Road also?
Yeah,
They
but
The
did.
same day?
with the
They-
idea that we were going to take care of it, and we thought we were going to take care of it also. They were all cooperative and nice, and they never responded. They haven't.
Right, well, that's how it's been every time that we've gone out there.
They also promised they would come to the meeting on December 3rd or whatever. And they'd be all ready and they'd call someone with a plan, get a plan and.
Right, I'm sure that's why Dave is now referring them to somebody else.
I would push it over to DEP at this point. We don't have ability to fine. We don't, you know, they just run over us.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
just an idea. What do you think, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I don't.
I told you
DEP,
that
we
one.
did. I mean, DEP, I don't think DEP is going to pick up this ball right now.
Right, they don't want it.
They don't want it. You know, they were there, you know, and they basically, I mean, I can certainly email Judy, put that on my to-do list.
Well,
and also,
local
you know,
bylaw so that we can issue fines.
correct.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely correct. And, you know, and I will continue to communicate with Dave and see if he can sort of help move things along too. All right. Now, can we talk about 32 Allen Road?
Sure.
Go for it.
Well, Walter, you were the one who said you had this all under control.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that I didn't, Steve, if I didn't get back and keep you filled in, but I went over there one day and met the guy at 32. In fact, I have the enforcement order right here. His name is, he has quite an accent. I don't know what he is. He's Lideo Colho. Anyway, spent about an hour with him. We went down and walked the site and I explained it to him. And I think number one, he is genuinely ignorant of the laws and he was concerned about it, but he seemed to be more concerned about having to deal with it and where he was going to put the fill on his property. But I'm willing to, you know, rather than going, I talked to Pat Garner about this. He said there's no real need if we're dealing with a homeowner that seems to be legitimate and concerned, and we don't have to even let DEP know. We don't have to have a hearing, put it in the paper, all that. We can handle it in-house, and I'm willing to do that. Go and take them by the hand, or go down there and do some measurements and find out where to how to deal with it. It isn't a river. It does dry up. So as long as he stays 25 feet from the edge of it, on the other side of the driveway, he thought he might want to put some stuff there, but I don't think there's enough room for all of it. But anyway, I'm willing to go and look it over and take some pictures and draw up a plan with him and have him come in like the second meeting in January or the first in February. You're not going to get much done this time of year anyway.
If you're willing to do that, Walter, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, I'll do that. Nobody has any objection.
Does anyone have any objection?
Nope.
No,
Walter
thanks, Walter.
mentoring Mr. Coelho through this process?
So,
All right.
so it was 32 that we drove up that into his backyard.
No, we drove up 36. When we went in where the violation was, Steve, we crossed the brook and then I drove up into the yard and we thought it was the fellow on the left where there was a tractor parked and everything, you know, but it wasn't. It was the house on the right, which was 32. When we drove around the other side, we drove up 36.
Yeah, we drove up 36. We saw all the logs along the driveway. You're saying that was not him.
Well, I think, no, he didn't do it. I think Ilio or whatever his name is might have taken stuff from there and put it in. No, I don't know if they're even connected, but the guy at 36 is not in violation of anything, Steve.
Okay. No, I know, but I remember we drove in his backyard, so I didn't.
Yeah.
So I knew that was 36. But okay, so somehow so you don't think that backhoe is the one to put it in there that we saw on 36?
Well, it is because he lets Ilio park some equipment there and stuff. You know, that belongs to Ilio there, but so that's why we got thrown off. But anyway, I'll keep you posted with emails and stuff as time goes on.
It is 32 Allen Road.
Right.
Yes. Here, I will screen share.
So, but didn't you originally send the enforcement order to 32?
No, send it to 36.
Oh,
And
okay.
report out to
And he's a
455.
very nice guy too. He was laughing about it.
This is 32 right here.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so we're talking about the same lot.
No, we went to 30.
This is 32. This is 36.
We drove up Allen Road 36, Steve. Is the one we drove up.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we were around the corner. Yeah.
There's a driveway that goes like this. That actually
Yeah.
leads this piece of property, and this piece of property is owned by Mike Sawyer.
Yep.
So, and there's a beautiful lot here, beautiful lot. But so that's why there's a road here that goes like this. But this
Okay.
is 32 Allen, and I believe this is where the problems are. Correct?
Right.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yep. Okay.
So that's 32. So we did issue an enforcement order. I did send it to DEP, but basically enforcement orders are a little different than like NOIs and OOCs, and we can still continue to have Walter shepherd Mr. Coelho through this process.
Yeah.
So that's good. Thank you, Walter.
Highly welcome.
All right. No Franny yet?
Nope.
Okay. Next, new business, some minor, something else with 200 Crosby. Paul Cruisers.
Do you want his doc?
Oh, it's even more precious than that. There we go. So I got a letter from Paul Kirschner, who we've met, many of us have met, who's the, you know, the site coordinator or manager. If you want to just read that.
Four inches, truly?
Well, they're playing by the letter of the law. I mean, so, you know, the stone veneer is 2 inches thicker. So that's a total of 4 inches in length. So the question is, you know, so there's a change.
Are they that close to any lines that we care about for that building? Like, were they 24 feet and not 25, and that's why 4 inches would matter?
I didn't think about the 24, 25 thing. Let me see if I can, I'll stop sharing. That may take a little looking. All right, found it. So here's the barn. Let me try to make this a little bigger. What is this line here? "25-foot setback." So yeah, actually, it might kick over the setback by a couple inches. Good thinking there, Carolyn.
Thank you. I mean, I just couldn't imagine any other reason to get us involved over a 4-inch dimensional change.
Yeah. So it's because they have that little bit of a streamlet that, you know, there's a culvert here.
Yeah,
and it
that's the
comes up
outlet.
Yeah.
And is the foundation already in?
I don't know.
Do we know? Right.
No, I don't think the foundation, the foundation is, the last time I ran by there, it wasn't in.
This
But
is separate from the house,
this
right?
is veneer anyway. This
Yeah.
wouldn't alter the foundation, which is all.
No, my question is if they haven't dug the hole and spent any money, why can't they build the building according to what we agreed upon, regardless of what
Good
the
question.
building dimensions are gonna be?
Agree.
I don't fully understand because.
Why can't
the
they
question-
move that? Why can't they, if they were gonna build the hole, dig the hole here and the
we
6
can-
inch,
We can't see you here.
oh, sorry. That's a terrible thing to do to an Italian. Because I was doing hand things and everything.
Well, I can see your hand. We can see your hand things. I can see your hand
Right.
things. You
So,
can talk
but
about it.
if they haven't already dug the hole, why can't they dig the hole in a manner that will keep the new dimensions of the building still outside of the 25 feet?
Okay, I can tell them that that's what you want.
So the other thing too, if the foundation already is there, you could just tell them to keep the veneer above the surface, because the veneer would just stick out. It's the foundation that would be on the setback, assuming that they put the
Or they
foundation
could
in.
put the thinner veneer on that corner of the building.
That too.
Can't see it from the road.
Right.
Maybe just plywood.
There you go.
But you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Tarp.
Paint some of that tar stuff on it, waterproof it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put up some asbestos shingles. You can do it.
they shoehorned an awful lot of stuff into that.
they did. And,
Oh,
and
sure did.
I don't see any reason for us to accommodate a violation of the 25 feet,
Right.
Agreed.
especially for
Agreed.
aesthetics.
Okay. All right. I'll email them.
It was small of them to come after us for this. It's ridiculous.
I agree. So if they want an answer and they want to, I don't know, I have opinions, but I'll keep them to myself.
You do?
All right. That's good. So do we have a Franny yet?
Yep, she's here.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the rail thingy. So
She's muted.
I am here. No, when I came on there, I couldn't find the mute button, and I was like, I've never been on a Zoom where I couldn't mute.
Oh, do we not make her a panelist? Oh, no, she's a panelist now. She should be all set.
Oh, did you mute me?
Nope, you're
yes,
good.
you were.
All right, let me see if
yet.
I can do some video. Let's see.
Yeah, until you get promoted to a panelist, I don't think you have a mute or video button.
Ah, I see. Oh, great. Believe me, I hate being on camera on Zoom. I'm on Zoom all day.
Well, you're not that bad looking.
Just what every woman wants to hear, Walter.
Yeah.
She's such a smoothie.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Real lady killer.
Geez.
Well,
Hello, Louise. I haven't seen you in ages.
I know. Hello to you too.
So your camera's still not on.
Okay, so now I can,
So if you
Right.
move your mouse at the bottom of the screen.
no, I did
You
the,
got it?
wait a minute, hang on.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
Hello.
I
Yep.
work in my basement, so I have to use the virtual background. Walter, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow, yeah.
what is it?
So that's the rail trail, where the rail trail will be. That's Clamshell Road. This is where Deb Grant lives now.
Yeah.
And this is from 1904, right after the railroad opened in that section.
Nice.
Yeah. So we used it for our holiday card, and now it's my virtual background.
Looks good.
All right, take it away there, Franny.
So did you want me to just talk about what we're doing? Did you have specific questions? I can let you know where we are right now and what our next steps are.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too far afield. The reason I wanted you here is that Walter said there was an urgent issue with respect to sort of a window of time to purchase some land before the price of the land escalates.
Well, there were a number of questions, and the big question, which is answered, was answered favorably. The railroad company Pan Am will sell us the land for $10,000 an acre, stick with the same price they sold it to Clinton, which is a bargain, at least if you compare it to what the appraisals are. So they're willing to sell it to us, but then I don't know how long they're willing to hold on to it. The rumors are that Pan Am is apt to be sold, in which case the price could triple even. I don't know. It's going to go up, definitely. So it's just a little incumbent upon us, if there's any way possible, to get the town to accept it. By the way, we'd get 80% reimbursement. So for $20,000, we get over 10 acres of land for this rail trail. Now, So I don't know, that's the discussion. Then the politics of it is at the last town meeting, the antis out lobbied us, but I think we could win it this time, but
The trouble is we still don't have we don't have the answers to the questions that everybody wanted. Everybody wanted to know where it was going, what it was going to cost, and who was going to pay for it. And we don't know that.
No, yes, we do. So,
Yes, we
yeah,
do.
so I think that I'll tell you how we did it, and it may be an approach that will work for Berlin. But relative to the feasibility study, the intent of the feasibility study wasn't to say, this is definitely where the trail will go, and we will only fund projects that follow this exact path. The point of the feasibility study was to document the conditions of the former rail bed as they are now, and then make some recommendations for potential other paths. So Mass DOT had no intention of saying it must go this way or that way. And it was actually quite annoying to most people who've been working on the trail for a long time, because they started talking about things that had already been settled. So for example, in the sections that Wachusett Greenways is developing, they started mapping the route of the original rail bed, which will never be part of the rail trail because they're already built upon or too built up, or there's other conditions in place that would never happen. And they've already determined alternate paths. And for us in Clinton, we didn't get a grant for the inspection of the tunnel because, they were off doing this project. So it cost us quite a lot of money to not be able to get that grant. So from the point of view of people that have been working on it, we already know where the paths are. We already know the conditions of the trail. And, we've already, in our minds, decided on the best path. So the alternate route that they put in Clinton into Berlin is to go over the Aqueduct Trail, which one is not approved as a trail by MWRA. It could be, and it probably should be, as a separate thing, but it's not a good rail trail. It's a very hilly trail and is not really, conducive to a rail trail sort of property. And we had already negotiated the purchase and sale for the section that goes through the tunnel and into Berlin on the original rail bed. So that feasibility study isn't saying the path has to go this way. All it was doing is stating the condition of the existing rail bed, and here are some interesting other things that people can consider. So the practice of what's now Mass Trails has been that the towns along the path have to decide what they want to do and then go ask for funds. So Berlin is lucky in that from Coburn Road to the Hudson Line, that's already owned by DCR. Well, it's already owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, currently controlled by DCR Trails. So you don't have to buy any of that. It's already available. And there may actually be some financial benefit if you're able to pull up the rails and sell them. So that's a way that people pay for trail development. And I think the rails are down in parts of Berlin. There aren't any rails in Clinton. So we in Clinton started negotiating with Pan Am in 2009 and tried to get it for a lower price. They said, well, we need a little bit more. We think it's worth more like $3K an acre. So we went back and raised some more money and came back and said, okay, we're willing to offer $3K an acre. And they go, oh, no. We think it's worth $20K an acre. So we said, well, we don't have $20K an acre. So we decided to negotiate a purchase and sale agreement and then go raise the funds once we knew the exact price. So in negotiating the purchase and sale for Clinton, we said, and Berlin would be interested in acquiring their sections too. And they actually made that in their original conditions, said, we'll give it to you for $10K an acre, but Berlin has to be included. So I think I called Walter and said, Walter, are you ready? And he said, no, we're not ready. So we had to have that condition removed. But thankfully, they've kept that price for Berlin, and hopefully you can move forward with it. So in the course of raising the funds for the acquisition, we applied for a Mass Trails grant, which we received. We were able to get the town of Clinton to participate in this. So the town of Clinton is actually upfronting all the money. We're paying the matching funds, and then Clinton will get reimbursed for the 80% of the purchase. And that was a good thing because it basically went on the record that the town's supporting it. The town will then own the property, and we will retain the rights to develop the trail. So in selling this to Clinton, it's going to be different than Berlin because you've already had a scenario where you tried to develop part of the trail and people came out and said, oh, it's a terrible idea. And in fact, in their report stated things that are not true, such as nothing's happening to the east or west of us. So why should we do anything when for 11 years we'd been working on it in Clinton? So it just wasn't true. They never contacted us. And I think they weren't familiar with, well, I know some of the opponents personally, and they absolutely know that we were working on it. So anyway, the way that we presented it in Clinton, we actually, which this was one that you did as well at the same time, the Sizzlick's property, which is in Berlin and Clinton, and was a partnership with Sudbury Valley trustees. The town of Clinton was very willing to participate because they said, oh, great. We had open space essentially for free. We upfront the money, we get reimbursed, Sudbury Valley trustees pays the match. It's a win-win. And Berlin did the same thing. So when I presented it to the select board and to the town, I used that as an example. Here's a nice parcel that we will get for free because we have a nonprofit, the Clinton Greenway Conservation Trust, that will pay the match, and the town just upfronts some money and then gets a reimbursement. The other way that we sold it to the town, because development of other sections of the trail are dependent on making it an actual rail trail that goes from Northampton to Boston. For the town, we made a point of showing that it connects open space properties, whether or not the rest of the trail goes through. In Clinton, it connects the DCR property to the Rauscher Farm property, to the Maffei Farm property, to the open space in the woodlands. And so obviously we planned for the whole trail to go through, but we sold it as whether the trail goes through or not, this is a great feature for Clinton. And I think many people in Clinton, particularly the select board and businesses, see the development of the tunnel as a huge draw for businesses and as a tourist attraction. And so they are supportive of moving forward with that part of the project. So in Berlin, I think, depending on how you position things with the town, it's we can get something for nothing. It's a great trail that connects various open spaces, whether or not the rest of the trail goes through. And, and then relative to the trail, you present, here's the next steps we would take relative to developing the trail. And in Clinton, when it went to town meeting, there were several people in our group that said, well, we have to have a big campaign. And I said, no, we don't. Because if you have a campaign, it could potentially draw out detractors. And it was really easy. I was the only one that spoke. It was an easy, yes, by the people at town meeting because they saw it as a benefit. So sort of selling it as exactly as we did with the Sizzlick property, we're going to get this nice piece of space and it connects all these parcels. So we usually, so we have a map that shows here's how it fits into those open spaces. And I think for Berlin, in the short term, you can sell it as this is a great trail because it connects these parcels. So if you think about the people that have horses right off of New 62 and Berlin Road, there's some people with horse farms. They'll be able to bring their horses on that trail. And, you have the open space around the Woodlands property and it connects you to the Rauscher Farm and to Clinton. And then I think you also in Berlin have other open spaces that come up right against, are pretty close to where that trail goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who's funding all the construction? Like who's paying for, to rebuild the tunnel and the bridge and all that?
Robin, I thought that you are. Yeah, so relative to that, we will definitely be applying for future grants. So I saw the support that we got for acquiring this trail and the results of the feasibility study as a big thumbs up from Mass DOT that they'll be willing to fund parts of that project. So in rehabilitating the tunnel, so because of the way the grants work and because we're a nonprofit with not, millions of dollars, we have to take things a chunk at a time. So related to the tunnel, our next step will likely be getting funding to do a full proposal for the rehabilitation of the tunnel. So that's probably going to cost somewhere 25 to 50K range for an engineering firm to come in and review the inspection that we've already done, look in more detail at certain areas, and then make recommendations for specific steps. So in the inspection that we did, the engineering firm said, these are the 4 techniques that you're probably going to want to use to rehabilitate the tunnel. And so of course I went back to them and said, well, it's based on what I know about the tunnel, I think we'll need to use probably all of them in some form, but we may only need to use 2 of them, or there may be another engineering technique that will work better. So we would do those in steps. So so getting the detailed plan will be the next step. So we know you have to do this first, and then you should do this second, and then you should do this third. Or they may say, yeah, here's what you do, and you can do all of these in the same project, that you don't have to finish one and then do the next one. But just to give you sort of a view of what it is, so the techniques are, the first step is descaling. Have any of you been through the tunnel?
Yes.
Louise has.
Years ago, many years ago.
Yeah, so it's probably in much worse condition than the last time you went through if it was years ago, because it even since the first time I went in, it's deteriorated a bit. But the first step is descaling. So you basically go in and you take out all the loose rocks. And you can stop with that, but it's a higher risk. It's a higher risk thing because you descale it and then, okay, well, something else can come loose. So is that enough? Since it's going to be town-owned property, I don't think we're going to use one low-risk technique. So another technique is you use, I'm probably going to use the wrong technical term, bolts and dowels. So places where there's a separation in the tunnel, you come in and you put in a bolt and shore it up. And then another technique is that you put wire mesh. So it basically moves the water away from the top of the tunnel and into a drainage ditch. And then to make it look better, you can put shotcrete on top of that. So
The
you
bottom
basically,
line is the tunnel is salvageable. It can be fixed. It's not a definite no. So it can be going into.
No, I get that, but so here's my concern is that we already know there's opposition. So now there's this feasibility study that shows what appears to be a very easy path down the aqueduct. So depending on how all this gets funded, people are going to say, well, why don't we just go that way? It's a lot easier. It's going to be a lot cheaper. So we have to be able to answer these questions is all I'm saying.
but there's no easy path down the aqueduct. Have you walked that?
So
one person at a time, please.
Yeah, all I'm saying is we have to be able to answer some of these questions.
Mr. Chairman, Robin, come take a walk. I've been working on this for about 4 weeks now. Show up and we'll talk about it. The aqueduct is a joke. It can't be done. It won't be done. The most logical, cheapest, best way to do it is what Franny's talking about. And for us to pick up our share of it, the opportunity that we have, that will be done. Go through the tunnel, and even this ridiculous idea of MDC not wanting to cross the dam, we will overcome that. This will be the best part of the entire trail with the tunnel, the dams,
I don't disagree. I'm not opposed to buying.
It will happen. There's nothing that you can come up with that can't be dealt with.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just going to come at a cost, Walter.
I want to focus the discussion for a second, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the reason I really felt like, Walter had said that there was something urgent here and had wanted to and brought up the issue of money. So I want to clarify a couple of things and talk about money. So this is Colburn Road right here. Okay, everybody can see that?
Yep.
Yes.
And so this is the rail trail, and then this branch goes up this way, and this is the one that leads to the tunnel.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is a different branch that leads into Boylston. Now, so when you're talking about purchasing stuff at $10,000 an acre, you're talking about this section here.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Not
Yes.
this section. This is,
Right, is it the whole way?
we're
I
talking,
don't know.
we're
So
talking,
that's the thing.
we're talking about from here,
I can't see Walter.
here and up there, and we already purchased a section along here, and we have a right of way over a section that Lou's Garage bought. This section, we won't.
Walter, when you point, we can't see it.
All right. This section between Coben Road
Yeah, here's
and
Colburn,
Five Corners,
here,
or
Yeah.
where the fork in the railroad is at the Five
Right
Corners.
there.
Not at the
Yeah.
fork, right, you got it. And the rest of the way to Clinton is what we're talking about, minus a section just north of Boylston Road there where that horseshoe-shaped pond is. Yeah, we purchased that. We own it.
so that's already owned,
Yep, we
Mhm.
bought that. And then a little further up where Rue's Garage is.
right there.
Right, we bargained with them and they gave us a right of way. When they bought it, we had to let them buy it because they couldn't have a garage without a certain area. So they gave us a right of way and we worked out that. The section going back to Colburn Road. If you go back to Colburn Road, keep right there. All right, now go a little bit, about an inch east of that, where there's a fork right there, right there. That's where the McKelks are. We can, there's 3 lots there. One is owned by the railroad. We could take that, we could jump off of the railroad bed on the north side of it, go down that Y up to the right to Colburn Road. Yeah, is that right there? And then follow the road you just did completely across and come back out without going on the railroad bed, which is in everybody's backyard. It's up higher because a lot more to develop, and it's a much more attractive route that you just followed along there. That's the old county road that was abandoned when they built the railroad because it cut it off. And that's when they built New 62, which runs just south in parallel to the railroad track. So that would be the most logical and best way for it to go and cheapest.
We already own that, Walter.
We own this. I don't know who owns
We own
this.
the green stuff. Dave
This-
Burke owns that. Well,
Railroad owns that.
and Dave owns just north of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's
David
Dave Burke's
16.
house right there,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
But
so
all of this, no matter who, there are pieces in there, it can all be dealt with. We need to grab this $10,000 an acre for the railroad bid now.
So
And-
how are we gonna fund that though?
Right, well, I have a couple of questions first.
Yeah,
So, A, how many acres?
10 plus.
Have we been approached or is it rumored that we can get
I
it for?
talked to the key person at Pan Am about this last week.
Okay,
It's all, and I've talked with her about this thing for 25 years.
Right.
She
are
laughed.
they willing to wait for us to get a town meeting vote? If we enter into some kind of an agreement, but we can't buy it without town meeting.
Well, that's true, and that's what I'm saying. They're willing to do it, but we've got to get moving. I
So-
think the deadline, Carolyn, is that if Pan Am is sold to another company.
Sure. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a bad idea I'm just wondering if it's even feasible. If they're going to be sold in 6 months, then sure. If they're going to be sold January 1st, we're dead in the water.
It isn't January 1st, but is it feasible? It's feasible if people get out and do the politic, and anything is feasible.
Oh, we need a town meeting.
You got to think big, you got to go for
Well,
it.
I happen to agree with Franny on this particular part that our it adds to whether the rail trail would run along the rail bed through this particular area or not. A, if we own the land, we have more control over where it goes. B, it does connect to a lot of other conservation land. Gaining for this portion of it, I think I agree with Franny's technique of how we present it.
I think that's how it needs to be presented, is not that it's primarily for the rail trail. It's that we're buying this because it connects to land, and hopefully someday maybe this will be part of the rail trail.
Right, but it also gives us access to land that we already have that we don't really have a lot of access to.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
but I think that's how it needs to be spun with the town right now.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this does not act as a barrier to the Clark property on a practical basis. But
what doesn't is a barrier?
Not owning that land.
No, of course not.
So, but this, all right, so this is the thing. You know, we don't have endless amounts of money.
Right.
So are we going to spend $100,000 on that rail trail, potentially putting this kind of purchase in jeopardy?
Well, I say no, but I that's why, John, the answer is no right off the bat. So let's start thinking about what we can come up with. I mean, let's find a sugar daddy someplace to pick it up or something. You got to find some money to pick it up. Serious. You got to start. If you're serious about it, we've got to do it. I've been listening.
So why didn't this get bought years ago?
Right. John, did you see Franny had her hand up?
Yeah.
No, Franny, thank you for actually behaving yourself.
It's not my meeting, but I did want to make a suggestion. So, yeah, we should have done this 20 years ago, but it's railroads are not particularly easy to negotiate with. But so things that you can do, and this is what we did. We said we need to lock you into a purchase and sale, but we have to go through a grant cycle. And at the time, we weren't sure if we were going to go to town meeting or not. But for you, you know that's a step. So you have to say, we want to close a purchase and sale, but we need to apply for a grant and we need to go to town meeting. And we went into town meeting very hopeful and confident that we were going to get the grant on this round. So our town meeting warrant article said, the town will buy this if we get the grant and the town's going to be reimbursed. Right. So it was a really easy sell at town meeting. So you can do that method, but what I would suggest is if you enter into a purchase and sale, you don't say, you know, a purchase and sale and we're going to close in 2 months. You say purchase and sale, but we have to go through grant cycle. We have to go through town meeting. And we actually had almost 2 years to close because of the tunnel. We went through 2 grant cycles and we did not get the funding for the tunnel. So we had to spend out of pocket on that. But we did then get the funding for the acquisition and we used the tunnel as part of our match, what we spent, and the state accepted that. So I would suggest if you can lock them into a purchase and sale with, you know, we need time to complete these steps, they understand that.
With contingencies. And then that also protects us if the company gets sold.
John.
Yes, because they're already locked in.
Correct.
Yeah.
I discussed everything that Franny talked about with Darlene last week, and she was in agreement. That's
who's Darlene?
Darlene, oh God, what's her last name?
Darlene Lagore.
Look, yeah. So she is the person that handles this for the Pan Am, the selling of this stuff. And she understands that we need to get she wants to give us a P&S, but they can't wait 2 years. And, you know, I think the way she was talking, the only thing that limits that is if they're sold. And that could be in July, it could be in September, or maybe it won't happen. It isn't going to happen, you know, in January, February, March, or April. So they're willing to go and enter into a purchase and sale for us, money to be refunded if the town votes it down. So we've got to cut that deal. But to get a purchase and sale.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
What?
What do you mean? That we spend the money?
No, a purchase and sale, I don't know. What do you usually put? 10%, 5%?
Oh, I see. So a good faith deposit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they wanted 10, we gave them 5. They agreed to that because we just, if it hadn't gone through, we really couldn't afford to risk more money. So we put down $5,000 and they accepted it.
Yeah, she would, so we could do that, and she said that it would be refunded if the town voted it down.
Can we just write a check for $5,000? What authorization do we need to write a check for $5,000?
Well, I think we need to answer that somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so Robin and Walter, can you work with Franny and Darlene on sort of nailing down, sort of what exactly we would be buying and a purchase and sale and stuff like that? Could I farm that out to you guys?
Walter, you already were talking to Darlene about those issues, right? I mean, I'm assuming the railroad has the map, and you said they're doing they'll write up the PNS.
Yep,
Walter, you have the maps.
yep, I have the maps.
I think
Yeah,
I can show them to you if you want to see them.
Well, I have some maps, but they didn't fully correspond to all of this stuff.
Yeah. So am I allowed to share?
Yes, you are, Franny.
John, you have to stop sharing.
You have to allow me to, oh yeah, you have to stop. Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
okay,
I got those.
So this is, she'll give you an updated map if you do a purchase and sale, but these are the maps, Walter, probably from when I first met you back in the early 2000s. So this is a Clinton town line. So these sections that are outlined, so this is one that was sold. I think this must be, is this Ruse?
That's Rue, yeah.
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 Okay, and then there's another map. So this is a section here coming into Five Corners. There's another little piece here. And then there's a section down here. Now, another thing you guys need to check, some of these are owned by MBTA, even though I'd always had the idea until I found out later that the MBTA sections ended at Coburn Road, but they own some of these other parcels. So it is still state-owned, but it's MBTA.
Well, that's what Craig mentioned something about that. Do you know what he was talking about? He mentioned that something about that whole MBTA transaction that he thought they state-owned to Five Corners or something like that.
Yeah, so this is, I think this is Five Corners, right? So is this right here where the development's going in or the next lot? It's right here, right?
Where,
so these sections,
West Street Crossing?
Where's the river?
This is a river right here, I think. Can you see my cursor?
Yep. Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think this is MBTA. And Craig was complaining about that they don't follow the 4054A, if I said the right numbers correctly. And then this is Berlin Abandoned Highway over here across the street. And so 1, 2, so this must be Lucy's house or this one.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. So anyway, so some of these are actually owned by the MBTA, not Pan Am. So most of what you would be acquiring from Pan Am is these big sections here around Five Corners and the, unless it would, there might be, no, I can think that's it. And I might not have all of it, but these are from the maps that she gave us way back when, Walter.
Yeah.
But some of this is MBTA, so you need to check on that and make sure that they behave appropriately and turn it over to DCR or the town of Berlin.
And that's something that has been happening with the MBTA, or?
Well, so in Craig's opinion, they're not. So if anybody's going to build a road that goes over a railroad right of way, they have to have approval from Mass DOT in the 4054A hearing. And they apparently have been approving some of those without doing the hearing or without advertising the hearing. So that it, you know, sort of happened behind closed doors when it shouldn't have.
Right.
Gotta keep you left up all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you know, so for us, the, you know, agreement was made with Tall Pines Realty Trust for the Woodlands that there'd be trail access. So, you know, they've sold that development a couple times. You have to keep reminding them, and oh, by the way,
This
those
is part of
conditions
it.
still apply.
Is that what happened with the no trespassing signs over there recently?
Yeah, so I think that so I haven't reviewed this with my friend Rick, who's part of their homeowners association and helps with their trail development. I think that he is likely completely unaware that there's a conservation restriction on that property.
Hmm.
That's separate from, you know, the parts that Clinton owned. And I have talked to him about the Clinton sections a few times, and I think I told you, Walter, that he said, well, you know, I think the agreement was that Clinton gets access after the development's complete, and it's not complete. I'm like, people are living there.
Yeah.
That's complete enough for me. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know, just while we're on this section, Franny, there's one, I mean, we're worrying about the tunnel and Robin's questions is right, but this area right here, by the way, could be the trickiest part, but Craig says, you know, getting a bridge across that 5 corners, and then you get into that triangular piece, you just lost.
Oh, sorry. I was going to go try to find my little map that I sent you.
Yeah, that, the section heading west over the 5 corners, and then it begins to turn down, and then there's a private sector there that's owned by the Neetzels. See the house, the barn, and there's a few structures there. I have to confess that I am responsible for that being in private hands. That was Johnny Neetzel, an old farmer who used to chase the developers away when they'd come in to try and buy his farm for $1 million. And he was a great guy. And his son wanted to buy that just for the front lawn. And I argued on the Conservation Commission to let it go. So Neetzel owns that piece, but I believe we could either get a right of way over it, or Greg informed me that there has been eminent domain taken for trails in Massachusetts. But anyway, getting from that stretch, what we're looking at is pretty complex until you go and look at the bridges they put on the Bruce Freeman Trail up in Littleton in that area.
Yep.
I'm going to find my other picture that I gave to the feasibility study folks and they didn't use. So I was quite annoyed that I spent all the time on it. But another way is to come down the trail and then at Lincoln Street, go on the road,
Right.
come back up towards the, on the tracks. Is that what it's called now?
Yep.
The closed restaurant, cross there, and then go over those open space parcels, which are privately owned, and get over to Coburn Road. And I think I shared the picture with at least Robin and Walter. Let me see if I can find it.
I think did I send that to you? That, because I had that as a way too. I drew that up.
Yeah, I mean, going over 5 corners would be way cool because it'd be another really
Right,
interesting feature
right.
of the trail, but it would be another path until that can be developed.
Right, right.
So is it realistic, Franny, to try and get a PNS and get this grant in for this cycle by February 1st? Is that realistic?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would encourage you to do it. I think you get it because they go, oh, we just did this one. Now we need to do the next section. So I'd be kind of surprised if you didn't get it, to be
So
honest.
Walter, do you want to talk to Darlene and see if they'll drop a PNS for us?
You have to write the PNS.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to do the PNS?
You make
Okay.
the offer, yeah.
I think Darlene said that they would, but we'll see. She said she'd draft it up for me.
Right,
So-
because if we can save our lawyers' fees for at least most of that, we're gonna have to get town council involved for the final review, but
Mhm.
All right, so can I assign this to Walter and Robin then?
Yeah,
Robin,
Walter
you're
can-
off the hook for the annual report if you do this.
Well, I don't mind putting together the grant stuff. I'm not willing to like pitch this to the town. I don't think we're at that point, but I think if we can get this grant and, pitch it to the town that it's only going to cost us, 20 grand or so, and pitch it in a way that we talk about how it's connecting to other, open space and whatnot, I'm okay with that. But I don't think we're ready to like mount a huge campaign with the town
Yeah.
and start talking about,
Right.
the
So
rail trail over there.
Yeah, I just want to get some, get some facts and figures,
Right.
Agreed.
the
'cause-
plot,
yeah.
the land, what isn't included, what is included,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Agreed.
And
All
how
right,
much
so-
money?
Right.
Agreed, yes.
All right. So I'm going to assign it to you two to work on, and then we'll wrap this stuff up for tonight. Franny, thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. And I can't find that picture right now. I found the map of Five Corners, but not my drawing. So, but Walter and Robin, I think I'd shared that with you. So it's just another alternate path. So anyway, best wishes.
Okay.
And our
Thanks,
sale's
Franny.
supposed to close on Friday. So
Oh, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
thank you. Thanks
Okay.
very much.
Thanks.
See you
Thank you,
soon. Happy
Franny.
holidays.
You too,
Bye-bye.
You too,
Franny.
Franny. Okay. Good. Thank you. Couple more things. Old business. Just wanted to close the loop on 149 Story Hill Road. The Ducharme Dillis did send me the updated site plan with the fencing and straw wattles, not just the straw wattles. So, I waited to see that before I sent out our request, the
DOA?
yes,
Determination of-
the negative determination of applicability. So I sent that out. I've been in more emails with the National Grid person talking about vegetation management, but that's a separate issue. Wetland bylaw, I think we're meeting with on Zoom. Carol and I are meeting with Tim
Tomorrow night.
Wheeler tomorrow night. And finally, I wanted to get back to conservation monitoring. We had the discussion about conservation monitoring, and I had brought it up because of the Highland Ridge conservation restriction. And this led to a series of email exchanges with myself and Kristen O'Brien and Krista Collins of SVT. I got some more clarification on the various conservation monitoring projects. I mean, the older the project, the little murkier what the payment is. But for the more recent ones, we paid up front for the conservation monitoring for Oberg and Wendler. Now, interestingly, as part of these discussions, I learned that, for conservation restrictions that are in private hands, the landowner pays the upfront fee. So then I started thinking, well, why don't we just have the Venencasa and Highland Ridge people pay for the conservation monitor? And so then I asked, Krista and Kristen to draw up a, sort of a proposal, and that I had emailed everybody last week. And I think at least Carolyn looked at it. So basically what this, and I can pull it up now. Let me just open it up. Nope, wrong one. Sorry, I've got several of these. Thank you for your patience. There we go. So this is sort of their spreadsheet for doing this with multiple tabs at the bottom. Now it's frozen. Isn't this wonderful? It's a little faded now, but you can see for about $11,680 of upfront money, they will fund essentially for at least 30 years the ongoing conservation monitoring by Sudbury Valley trustees. My thing crashed. So I thought this was a good idea. What are other people's thoughts?
Who's going to fund it, John?
Highland Common. I mean, Highland Ridge.
Highland Ridge.
Sure, it's a good idea.
Yep. So the developers or the
Yes.
The developers, not the homeowners, the developers. Right. So, essentially, the way SVT does this is they get the money up front, then they put it in their investment pool, and then they use the profits from the yearly investments to pay for the ongoing conservation monitoring. And they figure on something like a 4% take every year, and that's enough to pay for a lot of these conservation monitoring things. It's like $250, whatever it is. The number they gave me is about 30 years, but it essentially can be indefinitely unless the economy really gets in the shitter with global warming and mass migration, starvation. But a lot of us will be dead by then. So I just wanted to see if you were listening.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah, right.
So
Johnny Downer.
No. Hey.
I've been reading them anyway. So Carolyn and I think this is a good idea. What do other people think?
I think it's good. I mean,
I think it's
somebody
good.
else
I
fund
like
it,
it.
that's fine. I mean, I just don't think we should.
I would vote against it if we were funding it. If you're going to
Yeah,
get the
same here.
developer to do it, that's logical, as a matter of fact. Let them pay for monitoring their work. Absolutely.
Okay. So great, thanks. I don't even necessarily need to take a vote on this. What I'm going to do is in a day or two, because I think Alex is rather preoccupied, but I'm going to email him this with a summary of our these various conversations in this meeting, and also that I've had by email with SVT, and suggested that this is what we want. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, who are you going to email?
Attorney Alex Pera, the representative for Highland Ridge Development. His meeting was postponed until January 6th because of a family emergency. Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm glad that we can reach an agreement on that.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up with the idea.
Yep. Okay, that's all I got for right now.
Cool.
Yeah, 'cause I'm tired. I have to get up early to snowball. Our driveway, for those of you that stop by, it's a hill. So, and Jess has to be at work at 7.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
Get her the 4-wheel drive.
She has an all-wheel drive Subaru, but it can be pretty bad with these big snowstorms. Getting up that little driveway. Anyway, so if there's no other issues, entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved. Boy, I hesitated
Second.
on that one, didn't I?
Second.
Okay, so
Robin gets no action items for coming late.
I got plenty. I'm gonna write the grant.
Oh, there
Yeah,
you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking,
that's
checking.
actually a big one. That's a big
just
one.
checking.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's not that bad. I mean, looking at the application, it doesn't seem horrible. It's just I think the PNS is actually going to be more of a headache than the grant, I hope. I'm gonna email the contact person.
So
For the
what's,
Mass Trails
I guess
grant.
I don't want to delay this meeting, but what's the trail beyond Coleman Road to Hudson? Do we have that all cleared up and it's done?
The MBTA, that's gonna be hopefully the easy part, is that's
Okay.
where the MBTA already gave the lease to MassDOT, and that part of the trail will hopefully be built by the state pretty easily. It's the rest of it that's gonna be a headache, so,
Okay.
you know, we'll get the land and then I don't see us doing much on that part of the trail for a while, but we'll see.
Right,
We gotta find out
exactly,
more.
but it does give us more control over how that
Future.
happens also.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't think we should, I do think we should get the land, but I don't think we're ready to mount a campaign with the town to get support for the trail. I think we
No,
need to get the
and,
state to
that-
roll in.
Right. I mean, in a lot of ways, that is the easier end of the trail.
Oh,
because,
absolutely. Especially since it's already coming this way, and you know, once we have a better idea of what the state is paying for, once they do that part of it, then I think we can focus more on the other side is going to be really crazy between trying to get across 5 corners and then the tunnel and the bridge. And I mean, that's going to be really expensive, all that part. So I think if we can get the state to come out to Coburn Road and people get on board with the whole idea, you know, it's going to be a lot easier to fund the rest of it.
Right.
So.
Great. Okay.
Right.
So I still need to take a roll call vote for adjourning the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Aye.
Steve said aye. John, aye. Louise,
Aye.
Liz,
Aye.
Walter.
Aye.
And Robin, you get the last vote.
Aye.